What if everything you've been told about death is wrong? What if dying isn't an ending, but a doorway to something far stranger? Hidden in the mountains of Tibet, there's an ancient text that claims to know exactly what happens when we die. And what it reveals will change how you live. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Death. The one thing we all avoid thinking about. But what if avoiding it is the worst thing we could do? What if understanding death is the key to living fully? Today we're diving into a 1200-year-old secret. A guide written not for the living, but for the dead. It's called the Bardo Thodol, or the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And no, this isn't some dusty old religious manual. This is a map. A map of the afterlife written by a man who supposedly tamed demons, outsmarted gods, and unlocked the mysteries of existence itself. By the end of this video, you'll see why this book isn't just about death. It's about you. Here's the problem. We're terrified of death. We bury it, ignore it, or dress it up in pretty metaphors. But fear of the unknown keeps us stuck in routines and regrets, in lives that feel smaller than they should. The Bardo Thodol flips this fear on its head. It says death isn't a void. It's a mirror that reflects every choice, every fear, every unfinished part of your soul. And if you don't confront what's in that mirror now, you'll face it later, when it's too late to look away. Padmasambhava, the guy who wrote this book, wasn't your average monk. Legend says he was born from a lotus flower, mastered magic, and spent his life battling Tibet's ancient spirits. But these weren't just bedtime stories. The demons he fought? They're metaphors for our inner chaos, greed, anger, denial. When he arrived in Tibet, people worshipped gods of fear and revenge. Sound familiar? How many of us still let fear rule our lives? Padmasambhava didn't destroy those gods. He negotiated with them, made them protectors of wisdom. That's the first lesson. Your demons aren't here to haunt you. They're here to teach you. The Bardo Thodol breaks death into 3 phases, but here's the twist. These aren't just stages of dying. They're stages of living. Let's break them down. Imagine your last breath. Your body shuts down. But your mind? It's wide awake. The book says you'll see a blinding light, a pure, infinite clarity. This is your chance to escape the cycle of rebirth. But most people panic. They cling to memories, identities, regrets. Why? Because that light isn't just death, it's truth. And truth is terrifying when you spent your life hiding from it. Ever avoided a hard conversation? Lied to yourself about what you want? That's the Chikai Bardo in miniature. A moment of raw honesty we're all scared to face. If you run from the light, you enter a nightmare or a dream. Depends how you look at it. Visions swarm you. Angels, monsters, lovers, enemies, but none of them are real. They're projections of your mind, your deepest fears, your secret desires. Think of the last time you overreacted to something small. Maybe a friend ignored your text, and you spiraled into, "they hate me"? That's the Chonyet Bardo. Your mind fangda fears until they feel real. The book's advice? Look closer. The monster isn't chasing you. It's you chasing yourself. This is where it gets real. You're standing at the edge of a new life. But you don't get to pick your parents or your destiny, and your karma does. Every lie, every act of kindness, every time you said, "I'll fix it later," it all funnels here. The book says you'll be drawn to whatever feels familiar, even if it's painful. Ever dated the same toxic person twice? That's Bardo. We repeat patterns because they're comfortable. Breaking the cycle? That takes courage most don't have. The Bardo Thodol isn't about death. It's about awareness. The light in stage 1, that's the clarity you feel after meditation. The monsters in stage 2, they're the insecurities you ignore daily. The karma in stage 3, that's the habits you refuse to change. The book's message is simple. Don't wait until you're dead to wake up. Every moment is a mini Bardo. Every choice is a rehearsal for that final breath. Here's the kicker. The afterlife isn't a place. It's a test of how well you know yourself. The demons, the light, the visions, they're all inside you right now. The real question isn't what happens when we die. It's what happens if you live without ever confronting your shadows. The answer? You'll keep drifting. Life after life, regret after regret. But if you face the mirror today, if you stare down your fears, your excuses, your half-truths, you won't just cheat death. You'll cheat the need for death. So what's the takeaway? Death isn't the enemy. Sleepwalking through life is. The Bardo Thodol isn't a morbid guide. It's a wake-up call. A call to live with your eyes wide open. To stop outsourcing your peace to tomorrow. To realize that heaven and hell aren't destinations. They're choices. And you're making them every day. If this clicked for you, hit subscribe. Because understanding death is just the beginning. The real journey is learning to live.